Hey everybody, it's Kathy and welcome to my monthly weight loss check-in video. If you're new here, I am on a weight loss journey to lose 50 pounds, and as of today I have lost 27 pounds. And I'm just following a balanced plate approach. It's taken me a year to lose the 27 pounds, but I'm losing it slowly and in a way that I can sustain for the rest of my life. So I'm okay with the slow weight loss. Of course, I wish I would have lost more at this point. But you know, for somebody that's 56 years old, that's dealing with menopause, hormones, and a lot of stress going on in my life, I will take the 27 pounds and say thank you. So in my monthly check-in videos, I like to have a little chat and tell you about some things that I've struggled with and some things that have helped me. And I like to share them with you because you all tell me that you find it very helpful and you can relate. So today I want to talk about the real reason why you're not losing weight. And these are all reasons that pertain to me. So I know that I cannot be the only one that's feeling this way. So let's have a chat about them. And a small portion of today's video is being sponsored by June's Journey. It's a video game and we're going to get into that in a little bit. A lot of people concentrate on what you should and shouldn't eat, what's good for you, what's bad for you. But I really think that in order to get to the root of a problem for somebody that's been overweight most of my adult life, we really have to strip things back, and it goes way deeper than what I can and what I cannot eat. At one point, I was going to Weight Watchers and I lost 80 pounds. This was a few years after I had had my daughter. And I don't know how I did it because most days I just starved myself, and yes, the weight came off, but guess what? It came back on real quickly. So I'm glad that I'm taking things slowly this time, and I really feel that I'm losing weight for my real life. And my real life is not perfect. It has, lots of ups and downs in it, just like everybody else's. Occasionally, when I'm getting very, very stressed, I'll still make a mistake and have some sugar. But that was my coping mechanism for so many years. It's going to take a while for me to get over that, if ever. But I feel now I'm strong enough that I have the tools and I have the understanding why I make the choices that I do. And if you want to catch up on any of those videos, I have a playlist I'll link here because I've done a lot of videos about this issue. I've shared a lot about what I've learned working one-on-one with a dietitian, and also what I eat. Basically, I eat, pretty much whatever I want, but I'm following a dietitian's balanced plate approach. And honestly, it's the easiest thing I've ever done in my life, and it took me a while to wrap my head around it, but I can actually lose weight by eating. Who would have thought? All these years I thought I had to, not eat or be very, very regimented and strict with my diet. So I myself was never a binge eater, but I just really made bad decisions with what I ate. A lot of fast food, a lot of, high processed, complex carbs, lots of sugar, candy, sweets, desserts. That was my vice. And you know what? I'm not going to beat myself up about it because I went through some very, very difficult years in my life dealing with my husband's cancer. And I did the best that I could at the time to get my family through what we had to get through. So never, ever beat yourself up. You did your best. And whenever you have the tools and you have knowledge, then you can do better. So never, ever feel bad about the decisions that you've made. You know better today, so you can do better today and tomorrow. So in the last year, I think one of the biggest lessons I have learned in losing my 27 pounds is really being kinder to myself, because, there's always going to be negative people. There's going to be people that make smart aleck comments. You just got to tune them out, because I know myself, I can be my own worst critic. I don't need anybody else criticizing me, and I'm sure that some of you feel that way too. So I've really learned that whenever the negativity, whenever I'm speaking kind of harshly to myself or by myself, like how we talk to ourselves in our head, that I'm saying no, like I deserve respect and I'm going to speak to myself in a respectful way. And that takes practice and it takes time. But a lot of you have told me that you've been with me for a while. You said, Cathy, I can really notice the difference in your confidence in this last year. And so do I. And for the first time in my life, I'm 56 years old and I feel like I could conquer the world. I'm just so proud of myself. And that is not an easy thing for me to say. And I almost feel a little guilty saying that I'm proud of myself because I don't want to make anybody else feel bad. But it's taken me a long time to get to this point, and I know that you can get here too, and you deserve to get to that point where you can look in the mirror and you know that you're proud of yourself too. So today we're going to get to the root of the issue. I feel that most people that are overweight already know what they need to eat, what they need to not eat, you know, what's good, what's bad. It's more than that. Yes, that's a huge part, but you really got to dig deep and get to the root of the problem. So the number one thing that I feel has really affected my weight over the years is stress. And I'm just going to like gloss over things really quickly because I don't want to rehash everything. But 30 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer. We were dairy farmers. We were self-employed, just the two of us running the farm. You know, he was 30, how old was he? He was in his 30s when he was diagnosed. He's a bit older than me. And just out of the blue, he just went for a checkup. I said, you better go for a doctor's checkup. He had never had a full physical since, you know, he was an adult. And our daughter was just turning 2, and we found out 10 days before her 2nd birthday that he had an extremely rare form of cancer, that 1 in 100,000 people had it. They didn't know, they knew they couldn't cure it, but they felt that they could control it. And thankfully throughout the years, you know, medicine has adapted and he's still with us. But a year ago, almost the end of August of 2023, he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He has opted not to have treatment, but thankfully he's doing well. So during those difficult times, you know, I turned to sugar because a lot of the time I was alone because he was in the hospital and I still had the farm to run, and I was like newly married. I was from the city, I wasn't from a farm. So it was a lot on my shoulders. I had a toddler. And, you know, I had to keep our way of life going so we could live, pay the bills. And yes, I got help from my family. Thank God for my family. I don't know what I would have done without them. And from, you know, friends in the farming community, they were so gracious and helped us out. And at the time, you know, I just felt like to calm my nerves, I had to have, you know, maybe a drive-through meal or a chocolate bar, some candy. And you know, that got me through those times. Was it the best decision? No, but you know, I'm not perfect. So it worked for me. And now that I know better, I'm doing better. So last year was especially difficult for me. I lost my mom. I'm now an orphan. My dad died 7 years ago. Was just starting to grieve my mom. And then my husband was diagnosed with this terminal cancer. And we were actually told he'd be dead in 3 months. Well, here we are 12 months later. He's still fine. Thank you. Thank you, universe. Thank you all for your prayers and support. I believe in the power of prayer and support. So thank you so much. And for the most part, he's feeling fine, and we really pray that he continues to feel fine and do well. But it's really hard for me to live with that stress because I've had that chronic stress for 30 years. And I felt like we were just getting to a good point in our life. You know, our daughter was done university. She has a career now. She's on her own. And this was going to be our time to travel and do things. And then life just had other plans for us. So I'm doing my best. But this year has also been difficult for me because I hurt my knee in May. I'm still waiting to see a surgeon. I'm still waiting for an MRI. It's not 100%. I really hope I don't need surgery. My doctor thinks that I may have torn my ACL. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. Like, am I ever going to get an MRI? Who knows? Like, at this point, I'm just so fed up and tired of being in pain and waiting. And then for all of July, I got some really weird virus, and I was pretty much, you know, on my butt for 3 weeks because I was so sick. So stress also is starting to affect my health because I feel like my immune system is getting weak, and, you know, I'm tired of the stress. So that stress for me, that is, I guess, my main trigger of why I make bad decisions. So it's really important for me to be able to zone out And since I began playing June's Journey, that game has been a lifesaver for me, because whenever I'm stressed, I can just take, 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long I want to play the game. And I just get so focused on this wonderful game that I can get a break from life for a little bit and forget about my stress and my worries. So June's Journey is a free downloadable hidden object mystery game with a captivating detective story taking us back to the 1920s. And it has a diverse cast of characters. The main character is June Parker, and she is trying to solve a murder mystery involving her family. You must find hidden objects in the beautiful scenes and assist June in solving her sister's murder. I get to play detective, and everybody knows that I love trying to solve things. Each new scene takes you further through a thrilling murder mystery story that sets the main protagonist, June Parker, in a quest to solve the murder of her sister and uncover her family's many secrets. The graphics in this game are beautiful. It's easy for me to sit down, relax, chill, and play June's Journey. June has a knack for getting into tricky situations and for solving her friend's problem in her own funny, witty ways. I get so focused on playing June's Journey that I forget about everything going on in my life. So this is a really great stress reliever for me, and it's fun. I love trying to solve things. Being able to quiet my mind and forget about my stresses for however long I get immersed into June's Journey has really helped to keep my stress levels a little low, and just to help calm me down and, give me a break from what's going on in my life. If you enjoy solving murder mysteries as much as I do, join me in playing this free and fun interactive game. Download June's Journey for free by clicking the link below in the description box. And June's Journey is available for Android and iOS mobile devices, as well as on PC through Facebook Games. It really is a fun game to play. The next thing that really stopped me in the past from losing weight was my all or nothing attitude. Are you ever like that? I just feel like I'm so hard on myself, and I don't know why. I have to figure out why, because it really drives me nuts. I could be perfect for 95% of the day, but if I do one thing that I perceive to be wrong, the day is ruined. So that's something also that I have had to work on in this past year. And this really has also helped to keep me on track, because in the past when I was losing weight, I could lose 5 pounds, but I'd rarely get to 10, because I feel like, something would come up. We'd be invited to go out to dinner, we'd go on a vacation, or we'd go somewhere where I ate too many sweets, or, kind of went off the rails. And then I would just throw all of my hard work to the wayside and just say, oh, forget it. You know what? I'm never going to lose the weight. I had that attitude for so many years. And I'm proud of myself because I'm working really hard. I'm still working on it. I'm still not perfect in my eyes. That I feel for the most part, say if I'm having a bad day, I just let myself have a bad day. So what? It's one day out of 365. And the next day, when I get up, I have to be back on track. I have to stick to my plan. And the thing about eating the balanced plate approach is that I can have 3 meals a day, I can have 2 planned snacks, and it's really important for me to have those. And another thing that is really important for me is to up my protein, because when I first started with my dietitian a year ago, she said, you are not eating enough protein. And I wasn't. I was eating a lot of, let's just say, processed food, junk. So we upped my protein, and instantly I did notice a difference. Like, I wasn't craving the bad stuff as much as I thought I would or I had in the past. And whenever I think of protein, I think, oh, I gotta eat like meat. I don't want to eat meat at breakfast. There's so many ways to get protein. You can get it, of course, through meat, through eggs. You can get it through like almond milk or regular milk, cheese, yogurt, Greek yogurt. I love Greek yogurt. There's just many, many options today that we have, and it's helping me to open up my eyes and try new foods. So I always tell myself I don't have to be perfect, but I do have to be persistent. And keep telling yourself that. And eventually it's gonna click, and I think you're gonna say, yeah, you know what, she's right. I don't have to be perfect. I can, have a treat here and there, but the trick is don't have the treat every day. And I just like to share this little story for, anybody that's watching me for the first time. When I started last July, I had to cut sugar out the first month. I knew I couldn't have it in my house because I used to buy myself little treats like Werther's Originals and jelly beans, and my vice is candy. So I knew I could not bring that in the house because I was not strong enough to have the temptation there that I could, just not go to the candy cupboard. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. And a couple of weeks in, I just woke up one day and I said, I want a vanilla milkshake. I want a vanilla milkshake. So my husband's like, well, let's go get a milkshake. And I'm like, no, like I need to lose weight. I'm following this plan. I said, I'm going to tell myself if I still wake up tomorrow and I want that vanilla milkshake, then I'll have it. Because I know Cathy. Because in the past, Cathy would have went and, ate lots of other stuff, but she still would have went ahead and had that vanilla milkshake. So what happens in, almost 100% of the time, the next morning I wake up and I forgot about the vanilla milkshake. So I kind of like change my thinking or trick myself into thinking a new way. And sometimes we're not hungry, like we just need, like, maybe we're thirsty, or maybe we just need comfort. Like how whenever your parents, if your parents are alive, sometimes you just want to be by your parents because they comfort you. If you're going through a tough time, like, I don't know, you just want to be around familiar surroundings, something that brings you comfort. And for me, for so many years, that was sugar, and that was like processed food. And now, like, I'm still training myself to ditch that way of thinking, and it's not easy. I'm gonna tell you, this summer has not been easy. Like July, yeah, I brought sugar into my house and I've been eating out because I'm struggling with my knee. I'm still like getting over this respiratory thing, and I'm stressing because I know my husband has to have his scan at the end of August, and we're coming up to not only the 30-year anniversary of him being diagnosed with cancer, but the 1-year anniversary of him being diagnosed as having this new terminal cancer. And I worry. And if I think about the future, is my life going to be a lot different this time in a year? Because when I look back to last year when we met this doctor for the first, and she said, you have 3 months to live, our world fell apart. I felt like a zombie up until I think March, because I felt like, okay, he didn't die, he's still here. So the doctor must be wrong. And here we are 11 months later, and he's still here, and he's for the most part well. So I know, like, they can tell, how long maybe a person has or doesn't have through science. But like I said earlier, I truly, truly believe in the power of thinking. And that also pertains to weight loss. So that's really, really important to remember. I touched on this briefly, negative self-talk. I was the queen of talking very negatively to myself. I think I learned that from my mom, because my mom would often, she'd do something and she'd call herself, oh, I'm so stupid. And I say, Mom, don't say that. You're not stupid. But lots of times, sometimes we will talk to ourselves that way unconsciously, and we don't even know that we're doing it. Look, there's enough negative people in the world to tear us down. We don't need to join them. So it's really important that we prop ourselves up, we speak and think about ourselves positively, and whenever a negative thought comes into your mind, kick it to the curb and replace it with a positive one. And it's kind of like the law of attraction. What you put out, you get back. So if you're thinking, about milkshakes all the time, you're probably going to see milkshake commercials and everything else. But if you're thinking, no, I can do this, you're going to feel confident and you're going to feel empowered. So if you slip up and make a mistake, say, oops, I made a mistake. Not like, I'm so stupid, like I really screwed up today. See the difference in energy? Just like brush it off. It's nothing. And I really want to bring this up again. We talked about it last month. If you are struggling, I really do believe in talking to a professional, because I went to a doctor. He was a family doctor, but then he turned into I think it's a psychometrist. Anyways, just somebody that can help you, because personally, I find it much easier to talk to a stranger once I feel comfortable with them, because I have a very small circle of people that I let in. I'm a very private person, and here I am spilling my life story here, but I'm doing that because I really genuinely want women to feel empowered and feel good about themselves. But for the most part, in my private life, I have a small circle of close friends. And some things, I keep to myself, because I prefer that. And I think that's the way I was raised. My mom and dad were like that. But it really helped me going to a doctor. And in the beginning, you might have to go, once a week or every second week, just till, you get started and you're feeling a bit better about things. But let me tell you, it feels so good just to sit down and, for the next 60 minutes, cancer can't call you. Cancer can't bug you. Like, it's just about you. You don't have to talk. You just feel safe. You're in a safe place where you can just let your mind go, and, it helps to de-stress. And if I would not have done that, I think I went to him for about 10 years. He ended up dying when my dad died, and it was so sad, because I have 4 important men in my life. Well, more than that, but my dad, my husband's hematologist, and then my doctor. And I was so sad that I lost 2 of my main men in my life. But what I learned was that from going to him for those years, and I didn't go like every week. Like, after a while, I'd go maybe once every 2 or 3 months, and I felt like after about 7 years, I didn't need him anymore. But I think he wanted to see how life played out, and he just wanted to make sure that I was okay, because he had never heard of anybody going through what we have had to go through. But I wondered, how am I going to manage? Like, I've lost my dad, I've lost my doctor, but what I realized is that I have the tools now inside of me. So I really, really recommend that you speak to someone. And, if you can't afford it, maybe ask your doctor. Like, maybe there's a way that, there's free access. I know now you can do it virtually. But your doctor has so much valuable information. If you're wondering about something, ask them, because I never ever would have went to somebody to talk to. Never in a million years would I have thought of that. And it was my family doctor. I was there one day. I was in my probably mid-30s, and I just ended up breaking down and crying. And she saw that in me, that, you need help, girl, or you're going to have, problems. So I didn't want to go at first, but I'm very, very grateful and thankful that I did, because I truly believe that if I had not went and spoke to the therapist, that I would not be the person that I am today, because I'm a totally different person than I was in my 30s. In my 30s, I was so negative. I would bite your head off if you looked at me the wrong way. Well, I still do some days, depending on the person, but you know what I mean? Like, it really does help, because you don't realize how much weight you have on your shoulders until you start like talking about it and unpacking it. So it's really been beneficial to me. This next one is so important, and I feel like women in our age group, we really need help with that, and that's getting a good night's sleep. I know if I don't get a solid 8 hours sleep, I am not going to be very effective the next day. And if you have pets, or your husband snores, or I don't know anything else, if you're a light sleeper like me, sometime my cat will come in a couple of times during the night and disrupt my sleep. Or like this morning, I was trying to sleep in, and he was screaming his head off because he wanted me out of the bed so he could get in. And I know people say, put him in the basement. Well, the way our house is built, it's open. Trust me, he's so loud, I would hear him from the basement. So getting a good night's sleep is really important, and some things that have helped me is I have quit watching the news. You know, I'll watch the news during the day, but after 6 o'clock at night, I'm not watching the news. We try to binge watch something that is relaxing, that makes us laugh, something that's interesting. I had tried reading before going to bed. Try not to like go on your phone. I know that's difficult, but if you can, like in the last hour before you go to bed, just like don't have your devices on, because they can keep us awake at night, because it is brutal whenever you are still awake at 3 in the morning and you know you gotta get up at 7 and you fall asleep at 5 and you have 2 hours, and the next day I am just like grouchy and tired, and I really don't care about the balanced plate approach. I just want sugar and drive through. And on those days I'm like, whatever you want, Cathy. It's okay to have an off day as long as it doesn't turn into an off week, an off month, an off year. And something else that I think is important to discuss is depression. You know, I was probably depressed. Maybe I still am, because I've had a lot of trauma in the past year. And I, again, feel that if I wouldn't have went to the therapist, that, you know, I don't know where I'd be today. Maybe I would have had a heart attack. I'd probably have high blood pressure. Like, for the most part, I'm a healthy person. I have like my hypothyroidism that I've had since I had my daughter at 24. I get migraines, thankfully not as often as I used to. But I feel for probably periods in my life, I probably was depressed. And it's hard to admit that, and it's hard to recognize that in ourselves. But you know what? It's okay, because we're only human. We're not robots. We're not machines. And there's only so much that you can handle before you have a breaking point. And it is so hard whenever you have to do things on your own. Like maybe you don't have family support, or you feel like you have anybody that you can talk to. I highly recommend, if you are struggling, if you find it difficult to, you know, get up and do things, or you just don't feel like you have the will to improve your health, talk to your doctor. Your doctor wants to help you. Your doctor is there to help you. And, you know, they have all the resources. They know the answers. I don't. And, I can only tell you what has worked for me. Whenever I went to see the psychologist, he did tell me that I was depressed, and he thought that I needed help. And it was my choice. I did not want like any antidepressants. But he wrote me a prescription, and I put it in my wallet, and I carried it in my wallet for a couple of years. And I never filled it, but I knew that it was there if I needed it. And there is absolutely nothing wrong if your doctor says like you need help. Listen to your doctor. You know, don't listen to anybody on the internet for medical advice. Listen to your doctor. Your doctor knows you, and I cannot emphasize that enough. And just a little story to show you what our mind can be like. I hurt my knee in May. I was in Hawaii. I hurt it on the second day of our vacation. And I know I did something to it, and I'm really praying that I don't need surgery, because I'm scared, first of all, of surgery, and I really can't afford to be laid up with the way things are going on in my life. So anyways, I could barely get around in Oahu when we were there. So I was hobbling around in a lot of pain. So whenever I came home, my husband and my daughter were like, "Mom, please go to emergency." So I didn't want to go, but I did. So I went, saw the doctor. The doctor's like, "Yeah, I think you like have a small tear in your ACL or whatever. If it's no better in a week or whatever, call your family doctor. You might need physiotherapy. I don't think it's bad enough for surgery." Fine. Came home. Are you happy? I went to emergency, and I was still in pain. So then I just got so fed up of being in pain, I wanted to see my doctor. Well, my doctor couldn't see me. Would I see somebody else? Yes, it was a new doctor that was there. So I saw him, and he was a complete jerk. And I have never been spoken to the way that this man spoke to me, that I just got up and I walked out and I left. And I was fuming. You could see the steam coming out of my ears. So I told my husband and my daughter, "You know what? I'm just going to deal with it. I'll just put up with the pain, and, you know, I'll hobble around for the rest of my life. I'm never seeing another doctor." And my daughter's like, "Do you know how stupid that sounds?" And she's right. That's my ego talking, right? Because for me, it's very difficult for me to ask for help. And I'm telling you this story because I did not want to ask for help. I don't know why I'm like that. I like to do everything on my own. I'm independent. I'm pretty strong-willed. But when it comes to healthcare, I don't like to ask for help, maybe because I don't like being told what to do. So if I, just ignore my knee situation, the doctor's not going to care. He's probably already forgot about me. But 30 years from now, I'm probably going to have arthritis or whatever. Whenever the hospital calls and says, come and get your MRI, I'm going to take my pill that he gave me to calm me down because I have panic attacks and MRI machines, and I pray to God that it works because I'm terrified of having to go for an MRI, but I know that I have to do it. So sometimes in life, we have to ask for help. We have to accept help. There is no shame in asking for help or getting it. And never, ever, ever feel embarrassed. It's the opposite. If you ask for help, you are empowered. And that means that you are strong. It means that you recognize that you need help. Don't feel weak. That is a sign of strength. Remember those stories, like whenever you're, maybe beating yourself up with your thoughts, just remember my story and say, yeah, that would be pretty silly of her if, she didn't get the MRI just to spite some doctor that's probably already forgot about her, right? So I share these little stories with you just as a way for you to sort of understand, I guess, what the point I'm trying to make, because I know sometimes I can get off on a tangent and get off the script. I want you to know that you are not alone. I know how difficult this journey is, trust me. My whole adult life, I have been a professional weight loss person that has not been that successful at it until now. And if you have any topics that you would like me to discuss, leave me a comment and I'm happy to, make a video about it. You have to remember to take each minute as it comes. Take each hour, take each day. If things seem too overwhelming, you have to break it down sometimes, minute or hour by time. Don't look at the big picture. That's what helps me. Because if I was to think about what is my life going to be like 6 months from now, imagine a year ago if I would have just wasted all the last 11 months worrying about, they said 3 months he's going to be gone. I would have missed out on so many wonderful opportunities. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible thing being told that you have an expiration date. We all do. But let me tell you, in this past 11 months, we have been really appreciating each moment. And that is so important. So remember that. You are important and you are worth the effort. Remember to go and download June's Journey free through the link in my description box and let me know if you enjoy playing this wonderful game as much as I do. It really is a great break from stress and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. I'll see you soon. Have a great day, and if you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button. Bye.